Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Durham. Welcome back to sunny Durham here. I forgot my camera in the right position. You can tell I've just literally got off a plane. So welcome, hi, I'm back from Mallorca, where I've been the last couple of days watching the eclipse. Went over there for the eclipse and also saw the caves of Drac, which was nice. Palma Old Town is lovely. I've never been to Mallorca before. I thought it was just like full of tourists and resorts and stuff. But no, it's really good. And do you know what? A load of me mates were there. You know, Kieran, the van driver, who started Three Blokes in the Pub with us. He was in Mallorca at the same time as me. And a bunch of other people were as well, which is really cool. So that was all good. So I'm back now. I know we're an hour late getting started today. That's because I've literally just come from Newcastle Airport. Just got home here to Durham and got set up in 10 minutes. 7 minutes. Quick, fast, whatever you want to call it. And I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me. I hope this button is working that says my name. It does indeed. It does indeed work. Oh, that's good. It's nice when things come together, so to speak. So just a big shout out to everyone in the chat before we go any further. We've got Mr. Tiss saying, "Where is our Graham?" Here. I'm here. Just fresh off the. Not that fresh, but fairly fresh off the plane. Morning and welcome. Restart the investigation day. Graham, the stake in the title. The joke candidate actually got over 60% of the vote in Clacton. Yes, that's the joke. That's the joke because Count Binface got over 25%. So the joke candidate got over. Read the whole title. It says joke candidate gets over 25%, and Binface did quite well as well. Also. I tried to fit it into 100 characters. It's hard. Anyway, so that was the joke. It's okay. I tried to make that exact joke, but failed. Failed, obviously, miserably. So, great news, everyone. Good news, everyone. Nigel Farage came just about first in his stupid election in which nobody serious actually stood. There were a load of joke candidates from the Monster Raven Looney Party. There was Lawrence Fox, he's a joke candidate as well. And Nigel Farage, he got 22,239 votes, only a fraction more than he got in terms of votes, like actual numbers of votes that he got in the election last time around when it was contested against serious candidates. Meanwhile, our man, Count Binface, 9,455 votes. Fucking fantastic. It's 27% of the vote. 1 in 4 people voted for our bin. Yes, the bin, the Galactic Overlord. Oh. I was moving the mic and I turned it off so it didn't hurt your ears. I hope I'm still streaming because usually when I dare touch anything that's USB related, it goes, oh god, I don't know what's happening anymore, and turns off. Lawrence lost his deposit. Yes, Lawrence Fox, famous actor and singer, very talented man. You know what? Lawrence Fox fucks me off. Wasn't he thrown out of school? Wasn't he thrown out of Harrow for doing drugs? Wasn't James O'Brien thrown out of Ampleforth for doing drugs? Well, was Johnny Vaughan? Was he still in school when he tried to sell £50,000 worth of cocaine? This is in the 90s. That's like the equivalent of $500,000 now. £50,000 worth of cocaine to an undercover police officer. Yeah, because yesterday. Yesterday. The A-level results came out, and as clockwork, we had Jeremy Clarkson, who went to private school, saying, "I got a C and a U and an N and a T in my A-levels, and look at me now, I've got a helicopter," which is great, for the kids who didn't go to private school to hear, the ones who didn't do so well. They're like, oh well, if I've gone to private school, it doesn't really matter whether I graduate or not, and it really doesn't. Doesn't matter whether I go to university or not. Nigel Farage didn't. The rest of us has got to try hard to get on in life, but these bastards have everything handed to them on a silver platter, and yet people still vote for them because they think that people like Nigel Farage are men of the people. Men of the people. What? Anyway, Farage won 46.2% in the 2024 general election, but his raw vote only went up by 1,000. Only up by 1,000. That's all. 1,000 more people voted for him this time than last time because they would have been Tories or maybe they'd been Restore fans or something. They had someone else to vote for in the last election. The Conservatives, the Labour, Lib Dems, Greens, they all boycotted the contest. There were 34 candidates, so that was nearly a metre of ballot paper, the longest in British electoral history. And Survation poll shortly before polling day had Farage on 75% and Binface on 20%. So Binface substantially exceeded that polling figure. I was saying if you get to 2,000, you'll have done well. And he took nearly 10,000. That is just absolutely phenomenal. But here's the thing, right? Farage didn't even attend the count because it meant him going to Clacton. He didn't want to do that. And he made up this bullshit about there being a credible threat. He said, oh, there's a credible threat. What was the credible threat, Nigel? Oh, no, the police, Essex police told me there was a credible threat, so I couldn't go. I definitely couldn't go. So I had to go to this pre-arranged party that was already happening somewhere else, somewhere where I actually live, somewhere I actually give a fuck about. I mean, the brass neck on this guy. The brass neck. Farage dodged the result and cancelled media. A victor does not flee the battlefield. Pyrrhic victory. It is indeed. Well, as Count Binface... Oh, thank you, darling. As Count Binface himself stressed in his victory speech, his sub-victory speech, whatever you want to call it, his run-up speech, he said, this is the end of the Clacton by-election part 1. See you again in a few months' time for Clacton by-election part 2. Coming soon to a leisure centre near you. He's absolutely right, because there's going to be another by-election for the people of Clacton. I mean, yeah. He said, Nigel Farage said that the police had advised him, and advised him of a plan to embarrass him if he attended. This is what he said. And then Essex police went on record to say, we didn't advise him not to attend. We didn't do that. And he instead attended a private event, not open to the public, the counts aren't really open to the public, but you've got the media there, you've got the scrutiny of the media, you've got people asking questions. He doesn't want to be asked questions about his 5 million, does he? But yeah, he went to a private thing called a Farage Fest. Oh, God, I was just sick a bit in my mouth. Farage Fest. A Farage Fest event, which must have been organised really quickly because he was only told about this threat to his life and his embarrassment a few hours before the count. I mean, imagine putting together a festival just in 2 hours. It's quite impressive, actually. Farage, triggered the by-election thinking, by all accounts, that this would stop the parliamentary investigation into his 5,000. Sorry, 5,000. I'm sorry. £5,000. No, £50,000. 50,000. Sorry, did I say 50? I meant £500,000 bung that he. Sorry, did I say 500,000? I meant 5 million. 5 million pounds. 5 million pounds. 20 houses worth of bung. 20 houses round here. You could buy 20 houses for 5 million. Easily. 20 houses worth of bung. So he could go and meet, so this greasy little slime ball, Nigel Farage, could go and meet with the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, and say, hey, what's happening with the whole crypto stuff? Maybe you want to have a look at this stable coin that my mate owns a massive fucking share in. Guilty as sin. Actually, he's not guilty as sin. Sin is quite exciting and fun. He's guilty as bastard. That's what he is. Because he is just a horrible, horrible, horrible man. He is the worst of all possible worlds. He is the worst human that has been birthed on this rock since Oswald Mosley. No, actually, not. I think he's worse than Oswald Mosley. I genuinely think that Nigel Farage is the man who has done more to separate the nation, to divide the nation than anyone since Oliver Cromwell. Since we had a literal civil fucking war. And that's what he wanted, because that's very profitable to his mates. Very profitable. Farage will have to Farage will have cost the taxpayer £700,000 for the 2 by-elections. Stick that on the poster in Clacton. Next one. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard one opinion that Farage will not stand in any future elections or by-election. I don't know now. I think he probably will because he's got 5 million reasons to. And if the gangsters that he takes money off want their money back, they can make it look like an accident. No, he packed himself into the suitcase and threw himself into the Thames. That's what happened. It'll be the first time that anyone's ever been crucified by suicide by crucifixion. It's really hard getting that last nail in, Saw an interview by Talk with Clacton residents, and some people shouldn't be allowed to vote. He was saying, Farage has done nothing for Clacton, but I still voted for him. It's fine. You know what? There's dickheads everywhere. Maybe there's a few concentrated in Clacton, but that's fine, because then they can live there and not here. Well, considering who most have done and voted for in the last local elections, I wouldn't be so sure. It's sort of Freemason thing, Al. Well, maybe not. Yeah, it's a sort of Freemason thing. I hope Farage gets made guilty for what he's done. I hate him, and the fact he triggered it just to escape, that annoys me. Yeah, it annoys me that he triggered this by-election just to evade scrutiny for this money that he got, this bung that he got, this clear bung that he got from a billionaire who lives in another country who's got a Thai fucking name, who will make loads of money. We won't. We'll be made poor. If Farage is allowed to carry on his shite, right? He'll become richer. His mates will become richer, and we'll become poorer. But that's what he wants. That's what he had with Brexit. Perfect storm that was. Brexit took away our freedoms, took away our freedom of movement, took away our rights, took away our workers' rights, took away our renters' rights, all that kind of stuff. We had to redo them. We had to redo a bunch of rights that we lost by dint of us leaving the European Union. But now it's okay. We're free. We're free for the geographically challenged to go out and get new trade deals with Sao Tome and Principe or Comoros or, whoa, hold the front page. I've got a deal with East Timor. Yeah, East Timor. I met the president of East Timor. Well, he was the president at the time. I don't think he is anymore. Jose Ramos Horta. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in the 90s. That's a real peace prize, not a joke, made up peace prize like, not like the one that FIFA gave to Farage. Not Farage. What's the American Farage called? Trump. The peace prize that they gave to Trump, that's a fake one. Also, the economics prize, the Nobel Prize for Economics, is a fucking joke. Do you know what? If someone could find a way to make power through Alfred Nobel spinning in his grave every time the Nobel Prize for Economics is handed out to some fucking libertarian fuckwit who's made lots of money for very rich people. Oh, you've made the rich people. What have you done for the Nobel Prize for Medicine? Oh, I saved all these children's lives. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. What did you do for the Nobel Prize for Physics? Oh, I made Wi-Fi possible so everyone could have the internet. That's fucking ace. That's so. What did you do for the Nobel Prize for Chemistry? Oh, I came together this concoction that cures cancer. Oh, that's fucking ace. Well done. Here you go. Have a Nobel Prize. What did you do for peace? Well, I actually brought peace to the Middle East. Fucking hell, here you go, have a peace prize. That's fucking great, that. What did you do? I'm a banker and I made loads more money for bankers, so all the bankers got really rich, all the billionaires got richer than ever before. Oh, fucking hell. So you didn't do anything for world hunger or famine or the environment? No, did fuck all for that. I made some already rich people even richer because they had money to invest, you see. And then I came up with a clever way of investing the money using game theory. Quick, give me the Nobel Prize. Fuck off. Do you know what? Me and my brother Alex, we had already sussed out game theory when we were there. When I was 6 years old, we were in a camper van driving around France, right? And I realised quite early on that if I fought with my brother in the back, right, that our parents would be forced to separate us and one of us would have to sit in the front. And we were prepared to do that. That was our game theory. We worked it out. So we had one of us would get in the front, but it would change. Do you know what I mean? So one of us was advantaged over the other. So we had this mutually unbeneficial thing, but then it became beneficial. You see, game theory. Give me a Nobel Prize. Make a fucking movie about that one. That's great. That look at that. Nobel Prize for economics. Do you know when it all started going wrong? Fucking Milton Friedman, Nobel laureate for economics, the joke prize. Can I just explain that Alfred Nobel did not create an prize for economics? He didn't give out a prize for capitalism, for banking, for being a cunt. He didn't do that. He gave out prizes for peace, for medicine, for biology, for chemistry. He did not give them out. Sorry, physics. He didn't, not biology, medicine, physics. He gave them out for like scientific endeavor because he didn't want his name to be synonymous with his invention of dynamite, which killed loads of people around the world. But now his name's going to be synonymous for the rest of the time with the Milton Friedman fucking Chicago School of Economics, which is they took away the Adam Smith idea of, you make the best you can and then you'll outcompete the other people. You'll selfishly make the best thing, trousers. You'll make the best trousers and then you'll outsell all the other trouser makers because yours will be the best. Got rid of all that and said, no, the only thing a company's good for is to make loads of money. You just got to make all the money you can, rinse your customers out of every penny, buy up all the monopolies so you don't have any competition, make sure everyone has to subscribe to your service, and if they don't, they're not allowed to live anymore. I'm sorry, I know I'm going off on one about this, but I just hate that there's a Nobel Prize for economics and no one calls them out. No one calls it because no one really thinks about it. No one thinks, hang on, when did that come along? When did you get a fucking Nobel Prize for being a banker or a wanker? One of the two. But yeah, Milton Friedman. That's the reason. That was 1970s. 1970s. And since then, the gap between rich and poor has gone like this. K-shaped. K-shaped fucking graph. Mr. Paula Thomas, thank you very much. The Economics Prize is not a Nobel. It's awarded by the Swedish National Bank the day after the Nobels finish. Thank you very much to Miss Paula Thomas for that clarification. Yes, I know. But they still call it the Nobel Prize for Economics. That's what it is. Shorthand. They just say, oh, they won the Nobel Prize for Economics. They did. No, they didn't. Because as Paula Thomas quite correctly points out, it doesn't fucking exist. It was invented by some fucking bank in the late 60s to give a prize to bankers, give a prize to people who make money for rich people. Give a prize for like accountants who suss out clever ways of getting around paying tax. Give them a prize. Bastards. Talking of Monopoly, I see there's a Pink Floyd version. That's quite cool. Some woman kissed a frog to get their Prince Charming. Result of disappointment. Farage's transformation was half-hearted at best. Reminds me of the old Mary Whitehouse Experience joke where they were talking about the video for the Meatloaf song, I'll Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That, in which she kisses the monster and he turns into Meatloaf. And she's like, can we try that again? Poor Meatloaf. Rest in peace. Fun fact about the Nobel Prize for Economics. It's not actually a Nobel Prize. It's the Alfred Nobel Memorial Prize. Yeah. How dare they? How dare they take that man's name and tie it to capitalism and just go, let's give out gongs for capitalism. Well, you know who's winning at capitalism at the moment? Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, not the people of Clacton. One of the most deprived areas in the entire nation, by the way, Clacton. And it really does need some regional funding put into it, but it's not going to get that from its MP who's never there. Who's never there? Clacton, I say we all take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Well, listen, Shropshire Chris. We know that there is at least 9,455 people in Clacton who are all right. Over a quarter of the population who bothered to vote are all right. They voted for the bin. Who's the champion of today? I mean, he's the absolute champion. Nigel Farage just looks like this little scurrying rat. Little rat man. It's like a cross between a rat and a frog, isn't he? Toad all. Anyway, but yes, depending on the eventual finding and sanction, the common suspension could potentially lead to a recall process and another by-election. In order to get a recall, you need to get 5% of your constituents to sign up to the recall petition. And, well, more than 5% voted for Count Binface, so I don't think they're going to have too much trouble getting that 5%. Okay, so we need to talk about the heat. So just stepped off the plane from Malaga, and it's exactly the same heat here in Durham as it is in Malaga at the moment. It's insanely hot here. We're in the midst of the 5th heat wave of 2026. Temperatures were forecast to reach 37 degrees C in southern and eastern parts and parts of the Midlands. July was the driest for 190 years, but it's probably the driest ever because that's as far back as the records go. Which is a bit like the dosimeters or the Geiger counters in Chernobyl, the TV series, and like, but it only goes up to 3 rotogens. There's not that much radiation, and like, no, they're reading 3 rotogens because that's as high as it goes. The actual reading was like 300,000 fucking rotogens or whatever it was. Don't correct me, Paula. I know I'm just making numbers up here, but basically, the instruments that they had only going up so far. It's the same thing that we're experiencing now. This is the hottest year on record after the previous hottest year on record, which was last year. And the next hottest year on record will be next year. It will be the hottest year on record again next year as well because of climate change. And El Nino kicking in as well. The people of Clacton deserved him. Oh, come on. Thank you very much for the super chat. And I don't want to get into a fight with blah blah CW because I love blah blah CW. I love all of you, actually. But sometimes I will disagree with what you have to say. The people of Clacton don't deserve him. They don't deserve him. You know? A lot of money has been spent. A lot of money. We're talking millions has been spent. Billions, probably, over the years, convincing people that the biggest problems in their life are the EU, benefit scroungers, immigrants, asylum seekers, single mothers, the trans people, grooming gangs, Asian grooming gangs. A lot of money been spent. A lot of money's been spent into brainwashing people, and not everyone has the same critical faculties. Obviously, half of the population of any given place are below average intelligence. Actually, no, it's the 100 is the average for the country, isn't it, for the IQ test? So, yeah, maybe in Clacton there's more than the below average IQ, and that's not necessarily people's fault. And you know, if you're driven by disgust and fear and loathing and fear every day, and you read the newspapers and it's all like, you're gonna die, and you're gonna die at the hands of an immigrant coming and stealing your phone out your hand and stabbing you in the neck, and it's like, I think we'll be all right. Anyway, one of the reasons why I was a bit coy about saying where I was this week is because I was actually away with Catherine, and she doesn't like it when you know that thing about when people tweet or they put on Facebook that they're away on holiday and there's someone watching it going, you're not at home, are you? So yeah, that's always a little bit of a worry. Generally speaking, if I tell you it's straight up where I am, it's because I'm traveling on my own or there's someone still in the house here. Keep an eye on things. But yeah, so Kat said don't put it on social media that we're out here, which was a bit difficult because it was like, look at this picture I got of the eclipse, and everyone's like, how the fuck did you get that in England, dickhead? But yeah, never mind. It was all right. It was all right. We're home. Everything's in its right place, which is good. Always a relief, isn't it? Got to tell you a story though of Mallorca. So got there on Sunday night. So did the show on Sunday morning, and then we got on the plane. No, did this do a show on Sunday? No, it didn't. Got up there early on Sunday. Didn't do a show, did I? Not on Sunday, I don't think. Did one on Saturday. I didn't do a show on Sunday because we had to get up early, go to the airport, aeropuerto. And then, actually, did I do a show? I can't remember. Anyway, we got over there. No. I'm thinking about it now. I'm sure we got it in a good time. Anyway, so on the Sunday, we were staying in a place called Sarnell. It's all the letters that make up the word Arsenal, just not in that order. You take out the S and you put it at the beginning of the word for some reason. So Arsenal, which is just down the coast from Palma, in Mallorca. So the first day we got there, we had a little bit of an explore around there. It's bastard hot, Jesus Christ. And then the next day we went up into the west of the island of Mallorca. Went through the mountains, and we hired an electric car. And it's quite fun. The woman in the hire car place was like, "Oh, you sure you want an electric car? You sure you want an electric? You sure?" She asked us like 3 times if we didn't want to swap for a petrol one. I'm like, "No, we're fine. We've got an electric car at home. It's okay. And do you know what? I know why she's done that, because I guarantee there's been some people who were like, thinking of getting an electric car. I know. Let's try one out while we're on holiday in a country, a language we don't speak, using a whole system that using an app that I'm not very good at apps, and it's in a different language, and I don't know how much to charge this fucking thing. How do I do it? Yeah, that's possibly the worst thing you could possibly do is hire an electric car in another country if you've never driven an electric car before. So I guess that's why people come back and go, what the fuck? I couldn't charge it anywhere. The reality was very different. The reality was amazing, right? Electric car, first of all, overtaking people. Brilliant. The talk of electric car is amazing, right? So, if you're going along, and obviously if you're on foreign roads and you're trying to remember to keep right and everything. I had a bit of sticky tape. I had a bit of gaffer tape or duct tape on my knuckles, on my right knuckles to suit me, remind me, the muscle memory, stay right. But also, the charging stuff over there was fucking fantastic. It was brilliant. If you went into Lidl, right? So we went to Lidl, do some shopping, bought some, cheese and bread and what's the spicy sausage stuff that you get from Spain? Chorizo. Oh yeah, lovely chorizo. For some, I had a couple of picnics and that. When you park at Lidl, you get 30 minutes free. You get 30 minutes just free charge. Brilliant. I think it charges up about 10%. But I mean, imagine going to Lidl and they're like, here you go, have some free fuel. There you go, mate. That's just for coming here shopping. Oh, cheers. Cool. Thanks very much. Anyway, so on the Monday we went around the mountains and it was really beautiful, but there was nowhere really that would be good to be watching the sun, the eclipse, just because. And this is my problem. I thought, actually, they'll probably close off the roads up here because it was all little mountain roads and stuff, and they're going to close it off, and it'll be locals only allowed in. So, so the next day, the Tuesday, we went down to the south of the island, to the south, I guess the west, because we wanted the sunset, because the eclipse was happening just at the sunset. And we went down all the way to the bottom, went all the way back up again, and we found a place that was about only 15 minutes out of where we were staying. Which was really cool. There was a little walkway down to the beach, and we could fit a few cars in the car. And we were like, if we get here early tomorrow, get the car into the car park. We just sit in the car all day with the aircon on. Go for a swim if we want to. So yeah, that's what we did on the Wednesday. And then on the Wednesday night, we were chuffed. We'd been to see the eclipse. It was fantastic. We were quite jubilant, and we drove blah blah CW, bought an EV 1 month ago, no regrets so far. Fantastic. Well done for buying an EV electric vehicle. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, they are fucking cool. Anyway, so now the police had shut off a load of roads, so as we're driving back to Sarnell, where we were staying, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Sarnell. Did you know that they don't speak Spanish? Well, they do speak Spanish, but the Spanish isn't the language of Mallorca. I didn't know this. Spanish is not the language of Mallorca. There is. They speak Catalan there, but it's not even Catalan. There's a specific language that is just for Mallorca, which is an offshoot of Catalan. Really fascinating. Anyway, so we're driving back, and there's all these police barriers everywhere, with the no parking on, and the police signs and stuff, and they're all sort of getting taken off the roads as we're driving back, because obviously they closed a bunch of roads when the eclipse was happening because they didn't want people looking at the eclipse and crashing into each other and stuff. So we get back to the town where we are, and we find there's a on street charger, right? And it's free. It's free. It's just free electricity. Right, you can plug in, right? Free electricity, fantastic. Oh, thank you very much, Viper Scott, for the £2 super chat. Woohoo! Yeah, and I'm like, bloody hell, that's amazing, because there's only a few of these in the whole city, right? We managed to get this spot, but driving up the road, there were a few of those barriers, with the no parking signs on. But everyone had ignored them because I think they were just up for the eclipse. So I thought they were just up for the eclipse, right? And there's cars up both sides of the road. We park up. There's two police motorcycles next to us with police officers on, right? They look at us. We look at them. We smile. We wave. Yeah, no one. And they zoom off, right? So we plug the car in, get the app working and stuff. The car starts charging. Fantastic. It's got a little app. It's connected to my phone. Next morning, get up, don't I? Get up. right? And we're going to go to visit the caves of Drac, which are on the east coast of the country. And so we walked to where we parked the car. And luckily, the charging cable had a like a wire, like a quite a thick, like a bicycle, what you tie up a bicycle with, to stop people from taking the plug. So you couldn't actually take the socket out. You couldn't rob it. Oh, there you go. A CB's result expected, better or worse? Binface. It's much better. It is way better. He got 27% of the vote. He got over a quarter of the vote. Over 1 in 4 of people in Clacton voted for him, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. Wonderful stuff. And that gives me great pleasure to do this. Then I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Binface! Oh, there he is. Binface. How you doing, Binface? You good, mate? You're good. Oh, he's good. He's so good. Thank you, everyone, for chipping in for the confetti there. That's cool. The Binface. Oh, we'll have to a little bit more. Hang on. Let me get the thing redone. Diz, did you enjoy that? Diz? Hope you did. Menorca is nice too. I've never been to Menorca. I've never been to Mallorca before. Anyway, so we go out the next day. And yeah, you know those no parking barriers that we thought were to do with the eclipse? Yeah, they weren't to do with the eclipse. They were to do with the fact that that entire street turned into a market on Thursdays. So we walk up the hill. And it's just market stall, both sides of the road, market stall, like the bit in the middle for people to walk up, market stall. And then there's a gap. And it's the one car left on the road. And there's a guy, he's got like a trestle table, like that's literally right up to our car. And he's selling like handbags and stuff off the top of our car. And we're like, shit. Like, we'd left our car there for the night and they'd like built an entire market around our car. Just like, you know, like the guy in the family who live in that house on the M62 as you're driving on the M62 over the Pennines and the whole motorway splits to go around. We were like a tiny version of that house in the middle of this bustling market, and we're like, oh shit! So luckily, we got a ticket, so we have to. So we got the free electricity. The car was charged up 100%, so that was good. But we then had to pay a parking fine, and we were lucky that it didn't get towed away. If we weren't plugged in, we would have got towed away. There were other tourists in the municipal offices who were trying to pay the fines, and we were like, "What happened?" We got towed because they go around 6 o'clock in the morning towing all the cars that were on that road, but they couldn't tow ours because it was attached to the electricity thing. Anyway, and then we had to get out. Paid the fine. Then we had to get out of this little, and the guy who had the market next to us, he's like moving his market store like a little bit this way. He's like guiding us out. He was really cheerful about it. I was really scared that he'd be like really angry, like, how dare you leave your car here? I'm like, I'm so sorry. Lo siento. Anyway, so we had to back forward. Like, you know that bit in Austin Powers where he's stuck in the car trying to go back and forth? It was a bit like that. And I had to drive over the pavement to get, because if I couldn't have driven down the road because the stalls were too close to each other down the middle of the road, and I probably would have ran over some pedestrians as well. So I had to cut the corner of the pavement, which is another good reason to have an electric car. But yeah, that was yesterday. But you know, I kind of get stressed when my mic doesn't work or something at the beginning of the show. But when there's a big disaster, like someone builds a market around your car that you've left parked on the wrong road, I'm cool. I'm chill. I'm like, yeah, sort this. Don't worry about it. Cat's a bit like, and I'm like, nah, it's gonna be all right. And yeah, we got out and we got it to the caves of Drac just in the nick of time. We were the last into the caves for our time slot. We had a time slot, and the caves of Drac really, really cool. And then we went to Palma and spent the rest of the afternoon in Palma. Old Town, wondering about. We went to the cathedral, which is incredible building. And yeah, learned a bit about Mallorca that I never knew. I never knew it had all this cool stuff in it. I thought it was just all resorts and dickheads from Britain. Not the Mallorcans, they're nice. But yeah, there's a lot of old stuff there. It's really lovely. There's a town up on the west coast. Forgot what its name is now. I'll remember it in a minute. But they've this year in February this year, they actually banned cars from the promenade. So before then, as you always get, you get the beach, and then you get the concrete wall at the back of the beach, so attractive. And then you get the road, which has got boy racers going up and down. And depending like how popular your resort is, you might have a 2-lane highway, or it might be a 4-lane, or it might be a 6-lane, or it might be a fucking super highway. Who cares? Just get all those cars going really fast and then you have the shops and the cafes and the accommodation and casinos. They're all on the other side of the road, so you get like drunk people having to walk across this death trap in order to get to the beach and back again. Great setup. Anyway, they had actually done away with this. And yeah, all you could do if you wanted to drive along the main road in damn, it's not come on. If you wanted to walk along the main road, if you wanted to drive along the main road, you couldn't. You had to take the tram. There was a tram. That'll probably give away where it is. Hang on a sec. Sola. That's it. Bought the Sola. That's it. So yeah, the entire the front drag has been closed off to cars, and I'm like, this is the way to do it. They should do that in Palma. They should do that in Panama City. They should do that in Liverpool. Just close that road off. Just close it off. Just no traffic can go down that main drag. Just make it a park. Make it a beautiful park with trees and a little cobbled street, and have a tram, and everyone can get on the tram. And if you're trying to get from one side of the city to the other side of the city, you go round the goddamn city. You don't go through the middle of it. Okay? New rule. Don't go through the city. Anyway, that was really lovely as well. It's this natural port. It comes all the way around. It's got a lighthouse that you can't go to because it's part of the Navy or something. I don't know. Gray was incredibly calm. I was dying of mortification. Says Kat. I bet you would have been too. Oh, come on. I know it's not every day someone builds an entire market around your car, but, when it happens, you got to laugh. I think as we were going through the day, I was like, come on, is it funny yet? Is it funny? But at the end of the day, Kat's like, yeah, okay, it is a bit funny. It is a bit funny. But there you go. So yes, all good. Now can you act to the Vote Dalek Clacton by-election, please? Sorry, Punny, I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen the Vote Dalek by-election thing that you want me to watch. I'll tell you what, I'll write it into the Googles here so it can be ready for me to vote Dalek. I put vote Derek. I just wrote vote Dalek. Vote Dalek. Where are we? Clacton. Okay. Let's have a go. Videos. Vote Dalek. By-election. The Dalek Empire's thoughts on the Clacton by-election. Cool. Okay, cool. I will check that out. I assure you. That sort of stuff happens to me all the time. It does. A farm in the middle of the motorway, M62 is very surreal. Yeah. It could only happen to Graham. We got out the other side. Honestly, this sort of thing happens, don't we? It's fine. Kat's always very particular about reading the signs and making sure that we haven't parked in the wrong place and getting a parking ticket and all that. Graham, I put it in the chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you want to watch the Vote Dalek video, let's have a look. I can put this in the chat for you. There you go. Party political broadcast by the Dalek Empire. I think this is the right one. I hope this isn't the wrong one. When you send someone like a trailer, and the dickheads making fake trailers, can I put that into Room 101? Can I do Room 101 again? I want people who make fake trailers for stuff in Room 101. Fuck off. Stop it. It's so annoying. Hidden Knight. Congratulations, Count. You embarrassed Farage. Good luck in 4 months for the next Clacton by-election, said Hidden Knight. Yes. Thank you so much, Hidden Knight. That's very, Very kind of you. So, yes, I'm just seeing if, what are the other stories I wanted to cover? Because obviously the poll last night. I mean, if I was Farage, yeah, that's not good, is it? A joke candidate takes 27% of the vote, and you got no competition, and you don't even get 75% of the vote. In fact, you only get 63% of the vote. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I was talking about the heat waves, and we talked yesterday, didn't we, about the big idea from our new prime minister, which is he's gonna ban barbecues. Hey! But one story that's really caught my attention, right? They were talking about this yesterday on LBC, and it's been covered by a few other news sources now. The USS Abraham Lincoln, right? This is a United States aircraft carrier, huge, massive ships, the size of a city, and it's been at sea for 250 days, pretty much non-stop. Right, they haven't gone into port, and the people on board are going mad. Like the sailors on board and the aircrew and stuff, they're going mad. They're like literally trying to jump off. And if you jump off that flag deck, you're dead. Like you jump in the water, you're going to break both your legs. You're really high up. Like that's not a good idea. That's really not a good idea. And this is just like, what the fuck, man? 250, and they're running out. They're running out of essentials. And like one of them said, we haven't had milk in months. They have no fresh milk, for coffee, for tea, for cereal, whatever. No milk, and I think there's going to be a fucking mutiny by the sounds of things. And on top of that, right, there was another story sort of tied to this that Trump has forced the Navy, right, to regress on how they launch the planes off these aircraft carriers, because I assume the way they do it at the moment is pneumatic or something. I don't know, but he wants to go back to it being steam powered. I tell you, Donald Trump is the bastard child of Mr. Burns and Homer Simpson. He just is, isn't he? He's just all the worst traits of Mr. Burns and all the worst traits of Homer Simpson, just in one dickhead, one evil dickhead who's got more money than sense, and just says, yes, that's right, steam power. Come on, Smithers, it's steam power. It's the way of the future. Steam power. He wants to go, and they're spending billions retrofitting the. And then there's a story about him swapping planes. So is Caroline Levitt, right, or Carolyn Levitt, whatever the fucking name is, the horrible blonde woman who just stood up and lied for Trump over the last year or so. She's resigned, and it happened like literally the same day that she found out that Air and a bunch of Trump's other knobhead mates were on the Air Force One, the Qatar plane, and Trump got off in secret and got on the plane and left them all to die, because if this tip that they'd got had come to fruition, they would have been on the decoy plane. They were the decoy. They were the bait. So that if there was a terrorist attack, if someone shot a missile or something at Air Force One, it would take out all these other people, all of Trump's mates, and not Trump himself. I mean, how emblematic of Trump's just absolute disregard for everyone. Not just the people who hate him, but the people who... He's just horrible, isn't he? He's just a horrible, horrible, horrible man. He's got no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Except, do you know what Trump's only redeeming quality is? He's mortal. That's it. One day, that motherfucker's going to die. And on that day, my friends, we're going to party. Whoa, we are going to party. 1999's got nothing. Nothing on us. Ban data centers, says Richie Goth. To paraphrase Monty Python, brave Nigel, he bravely ran away. Graham, there have been at least that tried to jump overboard so far, says Viper Scott. Also waiting for the USS Lincoln to be taken by Somali pirates. I don't think they're going to take over an aircraft carrier, to be honest. That's insulting to Homer Simpson and Mr. Burns. It's the worst traits. Their worst traits. Their worst traits. You know that episode of... So it's one of my favourites, actually, which is weird because it is a Lisa-centric episode and they're not usually the best. But it's the one where Mr. Burns loses all his money and he doesn't know what to do. And he goes to the supermarket and he doesn't know how to shop in the supermarket. And that's what would happen if Nigel Farage was forced to just look after himself for a day. He wouldn't know what to do, right? It'd be like ketchup, 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 ketchup. And in the end, like, in return for being helped out by Lisa Simpson, Mr. Burns agrees to help her like clean up the beaches and those the packs that you used to get the beers in. You don't get them anymore. They're the plastic ring pull thing, not the ring pulls. What they called, the plastic rings. The plastic rings. You're supposed to break them open so that turtles don't get stuck on the neck stuff, or fish don't get that neck stuck through them. And Mr. Burns, he's like, collecting all the litter on the beach, and she says, "Oh, you need to rip these up because if they get into water, And he goes, "Oh, that's really fast." So the fish gets stuck in the net. The fish gets stuck in this stuff, and then he makes all his money back by trawling the sea with all of these ring what are they called, beer can holders, beer can packaging, packaging. And he puts them all together, makes a massive net, and trawls the ocean, and makes all his money back. Because he can't help be evil. You see, Mr. Burns is the living embodiment of capitalism, and he's just evil. He can't help it. He can't help. No matter what he does, he'll always turn to evil because he just needs to make money, and that's the best way. The fastest way to make money is just be evil. Fun game that we used to play called Wanker with those drinks. Can holder things. What are they called? Someone's going to tell me in the chat now. There's a name for them, I'm sure. What you do is, you get like 6 of them, or you get 4 of them, depends on how many beers you've bought, right? Take them off the beers, right? And then what you want to do, all your mates, right? Put your hands up through the hole. So yeah, it's around your wrist like this. And this helps the environment as well, because obviously you're breaking it. But you all get together, so you've all got your hands like this, right? And everyone goes through a different hole. And so you got 4 of you, or you got 6 of you, depending on how many people are in it, right? And the game's called Wanker. And what you have to do is 1 on 3, you've got to pull away as hard as you can, and whoever's left with the plastic around their wrist, you've got to all point at them and go Wanker. We have fun. Chris says Trump is just a vile individual. He serves no purpose to the human species, yet he was voted in the most powerful position in the world, not once, but fucking twice. Yeah. Because some people are twats. Don't get me wrong, some people are just absolutely out to make other people's lives a misery. They get off on it. They get a sexual kick from it, some like sexual gratification from it, from just being horrible. They're sadists, and that's what Trump does. He gives the people who want to hurt other human beings a way of doing it, living vicariously, hurting people vicariously through Trump. People that they would like to hurt themselves, but they're too cowardly to actually go out and harm people because they might, get some blowback for that. So they do it indirectly by voting for Trump or for Farage. Because Trump took us on his shadow and Caroline got jealous, yeah, and Trump's also put reporters in danger. Yep, yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure that Andy could make it rain. He would. Let's be fair. There isn't much that can be done apart from raising awareness, including and funding the fire bobbies. Well, I mean, there is something we can do. We can tell the fucking water companies to fucking build more reservoirs, or all of them are going to jail. All of them go to jail. Out of context, been watching the CNN documentary series on the Murdoch family. Even his daughter, not making excuses for her, called out the Murdochs for making profit for the sake of profit. Yeah. Good breaking news. Standards Watchdog has resumed its investigation to the ghoul of Clacton with earnest. Good. Also, Trump's comment on Biden's cancer, nasty. Yeah. But Trump said the other day that he hopes that Biden's in a lot of pain with his cancer. Do you know who I hope's in a lot of pain? Trump. When he dies slowly over the course of, let's say, a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. I hope he's in a lot of pain. I hope he writhes in fucking agony as he slowly shits himself to death. Because Trump's given us the go ahead, hasn't he? He's given us the thumbs up to just be horrible, to say horrible things because the president said it. Why do I have to be the nice one? Why do I have to take the fucking moral high ground? I don't want to. Even Clinton sent the plane back early. Yeah, and disaster recovery plans for top CEOs and managers of businesses, including PMs and presidents, it's had to fly on different planes, cars, etc. And you said, Diz, even Clinton sent the plane back empty. I don't think it was entirely empty, Diz, because someone would have had to fly it, unless you can fly by wire. Air Force One, which I'm sure that's a security risk if you can't fly by wire. Yeah, I had in my head like they tell you to turn your electrical devices off when you're on the plane. I got this like little sketch in my head of a little boy, and he's playing a game on he's playing a little flying game on his phone, or his tablet or whatever, and then as the plane goes, as he does this, the plane goes to, and as he goes that, the plane goes down. As he goes that, the plane goes down, and as he goes that, he's like, whoa. Could happen. I don't know if that's possible. Did Mr. Spock adapt a torpedo to pick up Klingon exhaust gases? Iran do the same for methane from Trump's diapers. Yes, I think he probably did. Yes, the Burns Omninet makes little Lisa slurry. It's in the Burns Omninet. When Burns sees the vampire on the cereal box, that one looks a bit like me. It's a really good Scooby-Doo and the Reflecting Pool spoof out there, worth a look. Hey, talking of spoofs, you know Coyote versus Acme, which is a new animated stroke live action movie that's coming out from Warner Brothers. So they sold this movie. You know, they made this entire film, and then they wanted to scrap it as a tax write-off. And there was an online campaign to get it released, and there's been about 22 reviews so far, and it's 95% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I don't know if people are like, I'm just glad this exists, so I'm going to give it a good review, but I'm so glad they didn't scrap it. Imagine that. Imagine working for a year or longer on a movie, only to have the studio say, oh, we're going to do that, go and get rid of that as a tax write-off. Anyway, the Coyote versus Acme is coming out later this month. I think it's the 28th of August. So I think that's going to be my next trip to the cinema. Seeing lots of homers go outside, going past with their bellies out. Why do some chaps feel the need to do that? It's not impressive, is it? Says Fat Spicer. Fat? I want to put that in room 101 as well. And I might not make some friends by saying this, but I don't like it when even like, you know, friends of mine who are influencers do videos without the shirts on. I'm like, stop it. You're talking about politics. You know, what is that, a flex? Well, put a fucking shirt on, you know, or a t-shirt or something. Just fucking wear something. I don't know. I'm going to do it like I'm talking to you in the bath. Okay. Now, honestly, if I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see a creator who's usually quite good about politics and stuff, and they're not wearing a shirt, straight past. Don't even stop to listen to what they've got to say. Some of you might think that I'm completely prudish by saying that, but there's some good-looking commentators, you know, political commentators that, all things being equal, wouldn't mind seeing with their shirt off, but no, sorry. No, not appropriate. Into room 101 you go. Shirtless people. Put a fucking shirt on. God damn it. Some people now get me like, I'm a professional nudist, Graham, and this is discriminatory against people's bodies. I'm like, topless. Don't you do videos? Don't you do toilet videos? I do videos like I'm in the bath. I mean, you know, even when what's her name, Margot Thingy, was explaining how economics works in The Wolf of Wall Street. No, it wasn't The Wolf of Wall Street. It was The Big Short. Margot Robbie. She's in the bath, right? But she's got bubbles coming up to here. She's got bubbles coming. People should wear clothes. Simple. Yeah, Daz. Well, I mean, there's a time and place. There's a time. Look, if you go swimming, it's fine. You know, do what you like. You know, you're in a nudist beach. I don't have no problem with that. But you're doing a video. You're talking about politics. And you've been in the gym and you want to do a mad flex. Whatever. Or you got your big beer belly. I don't get my big beer belly out. Yeah. A little bit. I don't really care what they wear. I probably won't watch them. As far as sorry for being a prude. Sorry. I get all Victorian. Yeah, put some bloody togs on, mate. Put some bloody togs on. You remind me of that Beavis and Butthead episode where they tried to go to the nudist colony. Never seen it now. I've seen that one. If I did, I've probably forgotten it. I mean, it was 30 odd years ago, wasn't it? Out of interest, do you believe in any prominent conspiracy theories? Asked Daz. 9/11, no. JFK, no. Diana, no. McCann, no. No. There's very, very, but there's no conspiracy. Actually, I don't think there's any conspiracy theories that I believe in. I do believe that the rich want to make themselves richer by spending lots of money, clearly, evidently, on saying that climate change isn't real. Or if it is real, then it's too late to do anything about it, eh? I do believe that a lot of money should be spent on that. And it's not a conspiracy theory, because there's evidence. And that's something that conspiracy theories lack. With the flat earthers out the other day watching the moon going across the sun going, why isn't it a line? Why isn't it a line? Flat earth sun. It's funny how all the other planets are spheres apart from this one. And when it comes to, what else have we got? 9/11, yeah, that was an inside job because they really wanted to invade, let me see, let me consult my notes. Afghanistan. What's in Bolivia, Butch? I have no idea. Possibly our deaths. Possibly our deaths. Sundance. What's in Afghanistan? They used to make raisins. Now it's just opium, heroin. No oil. They might have some minerals, but fucked if anyone can get them out of the ground without the Taliban or the Mujahideen or whoever else coming along and blowing shit up. I'm in Afghanistan for 20 years. Okay. All right, so no, we didn't want that. We wanted to go to Iraq. There's loads of oil in Iraq. We wanted Iraq. We wanted to take over Iraq. Shock doctrine. We wanted to have a complete reset. Milton Friedman, School of Economics. Control-Alt-Delete. Complete reset. Okay. Let's just run through the plan with me again. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get a lot of Saudis, right, led by this Saudi called Bin Laden, right? We'll get these Saudis together and they'll hijack these planes and they'll fly these planes into these buildings and then we can invade Iraq. Why not make them Iraqi? If you're putting this all together, why not? Why not just make them Iraqi? And that's my problem with conspiracy theories. None of them make any fucking sense whatsoever. There's a great Mitchell and Webb sketch about the Princess Diana death, and it's like, hey, we're going to kill her. Why? Oh, because she's too popular. And if we kill her, then everyone will forget her and they'll stop talking about her. She's making us look bad. And obviously, you know, MI5's just at the beck and call of Prince Philip. And she was pregnant and she was going to have an Arab baby, and then the Arab baby will become king, because that's the way the line of succession works, isn't it? No, it's not. Anyway, but yeah, it makes no. And then the moon landing. Oh, we pretended to land on the moon. Why? Because we wanted to beat the Russians, the space race, right? Okay. And the Russians didn't think to say anything. At the height of the Cold War, the space race, the Russians monitoring the trip to the moon and back thought, you know, and we know this is all fake and it's all being directed by Stanley Kubrick in a warehouse in Area 51, but we better not say anything because we secretly want capitalism to win in 20 years' time. Somehow. And JFK, he fucking died. Do you know what? Famous people die every fucking day. All right? They die. I know it's shocking sometimes, especially if they're young, but they die. You know, if your mother of two dies in tragic car accident, you wouldn't be sitting there 20 years later going, oh, there's a conspiracy there. But because she's famous, because Princess Diana was famous, she couldn't have possibly just died in the car accident. That's far too mundane a death for someone as rich and important and as noteworthy as her. Or JFK. You can't shoot a president. It's a country with more fucking guns than people. You can't shoot a president. It's impossible. From the book depository, there's no way he had the clear line of sight of that, what he did. Yeah, but the bullet must have gone through. No, he didn't. The president was slightly higher up than the drivers because he was waving at people with his wife. Oh yeah, well we'll take him out and then we can have Vietnam. I don't think Kennedy was too much bothered about whether to not do Vietnam or not. Do you know what I mean? I think he would have done it anyway. I think if it's still being alive in 1965, they would have still gone in Vietnam because they believed wholeheartedly in this whole domino idea that the communist states were going to fall and the whole world was going to fall under communism. And that was the next one after Korea. They're going, oh my God, Vietnam's next. Yeah, it is possible. And every time fucking someone has a pop at Trump, and I was like, I remember when the Skripals were the attempted assassination on the Skripals in Salisbury, which led to the death of a British citizen. And people were like, at the time, do you remember this? They were going, it's a big distraction by Theresa May for the by-elections local elections in 2 months' time. Okay, well, if you're going to do it, why not do it just before the general election that we had? Anyway, Paul McCartney died in 1967. It's been a copy all the time. Titanic didn't sing. Well, do you know what? Again, probably not going to make any friends or get any super chats for saying this, but I think there is a certain amount of egotism and arrogance that is based in conspiracy thinking. I alone have got the fucking answers. I alone can see these things that the top scientists and real Nobel Prize winners around the world can't see. These people who have studied all their life to try and do something and become really good at what they do and looked into it and read books and written theses and been published and got a PhD. I know more than them because I spent the afternoon watching videos on fucking TikTok. There is a level of arrogance. And look, like I say, I'm not going to make any friends saying this, but it's the same arrogant endeavor that a lot of people have kids for. Not everyone who has kids does it for the wrong reasons, but there are some people out there who honestly think, do you know what this world needs? More of me. More of me. I want little versions of me, right? Because that's what and then the kids come out, and kids are nothing like you. Kids are nothing like, or they take all your worst traits that you don't like, and they maximize them, don't they? And it's like, you're such a disappointment. Who are you a disappointment to? No, you're not. Kids be kids. Let them have fun. Let them do their own thing. They're their own they're their own people. They're not a mini-me. They're not made from your DNA. You're not made from your cloned DNA. Well, they are made from your DNA, but they're not cloned DNA. Mixed in with someone else's. But yeah, and also, I'm going to say this, right? There's one angry pagan out there. One angry pagan. Hello, if you're there. I find religion a bit egotistical as well. I mean, no offense to people who are religious, okay? Believe what you want to believe, but do you not think it's slightly egotistical when you hear people who claim to have conversations with the inventor of the universe? I mean, that I know people who haven't met the guy who plays Mick in Brookside. I have, but they haven't met him. And he's a bit of a B-list celebrity, isn't he? But they have a close and personal relationship with the inventor of the universe. All right. Don't you have to work your way up the celebrity list of meeting people who are increasingly more famous as doors open in your career, in your life, and get yourself in the right place at the right time? You might get to meet, Sir Ian McKellen. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? But close and personal, and on top of that, you're gonna survive your own death. I mean, come on. meet me halfway here. Do you not feel it's slightly egotistical? Slightly like, hey, look at me. Do you know that thing that happens to all those other animals and trees and crops and everything else? Yeah, that's not going to happen to me. I'm going somewhere else for a bit. For eternity, actually. Which last time I checked, there's a trillion times by a trillion times by another trillion quadrillion septillion non-illegal fucking years. I don't know about you, but I'll probably get bored after the first 100. Anyway, I heard Graham didn't travel to 195 countries. I was shot on a Pret in Milton Keynes on a green screen by Lonely Planet. See, Black Dot's trying to upset me there because obviously there is someone who's gone around the world, same way that I did after being inspired by what I did, and he claims that I didn't actually go to all the countries in the world because I had to go back halfway through the trip because my sister was dying of cancer. And because I did that and stopped the journey, put my flag down, and then said, I'm coming back to this exact spot, Wewak in Papua New Guinea, it doesn't count. But the thing is, I still got the Guinness World Record certificate, and they knew that I went home, and because we negotiated what the plan was for the record, and it was in cases of family emergencies or if I got ill and needed to be airlifted. It could be, as long as it wasn't part of the journey. But yeah, I've got mountain of evidence, just like the mountain of evidence that we landed on the moon. And it would only take one bit of that to be wrong. It's like that thing that the evolutionary biologist once said about what would make him doubt evolution, and he said something like a rabbit fossil in a Precambrian strata. It's never been found, never once. Every single fossil is exactly where it should be. It's funny that, although there are people who do believe that God put fossils in the ground, dinosaur bones and things to test our faith. And fans of the late great Bill Hicks will know that sketch where he's talking about the Joker God, the prankster God. QAnon was meant as a joke to map out idiot Trump fans, which got hacked by the Russian state. Yeah. Good God, in the last 2 months, 1,200 wildfires have been started in and around Stoke-on-Trent, all by bored teenagers. Jesus Christ. Even you would be cautious in case death said, remember that Final Destination. Yeah, that's a biography. Yeah. No, I don't think it's egotistical, says One Ping, but then the concept of gods and interacting with them isn't the same as others, Graham. Also, I don't believe I will survive death. That isn't how I think of it. Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad we agree. But there are some people out there who genuinely believe that they'll survive their own death, whereas other people won't. Or that we'll all survive our own death, and some of us are going to be tortured for eternity, but they won't, because they're special. Do you know what I mean? Like a little, come on. It's a little bit egotistical, isn't it? A little. Can you just... You're going to the bad place. I'm going to the good place because I said the right words in the magic building to the magic person in the right magic building in the right way, in the right order. I go back to my my little book of Homer. Not Homer of the Iliad and Odyssey fame, but Homer Simpson, obviously, where he says, what if you pick the wrong god? And each week you're just making him madder and madder. Joker's correct. Farage needs 330 MPs to form a government. He's got 8. That means Labour, Conservative and Liberals would have to lose half their MPs in 2 years' time. That's never going to happen. Frank, I agree. I don't hold out any. He can't. I will eat my hat. I will literally eat my fucking hat if Nigel Farage wins a majority in the next election. Not going to say. But yeah, Black Dot is saying not trying to upset you. Just make it up conspiracy. Yeah, don't make up that one. It's fine. Then again, look, I didn't want to get derailed talking about conspiracy theories, but don't forget the Nazis made their bread and butter out of conspiracy theories. The conspiracy that they were stabbed in the back in World War I by the Jews led to the Holocaust, right? Conspiracy theories aren't benign, They're being used time and time again by despots to get people on side to believe absolute fucking bollocks, right? And because they've got the secret information that no one else has the smarts to understand, and you can really show those boffins a thing or two. And I think it's sad that we don't respect intelligence. We don't respect intellect. We don't respect endeavor. We don't respect people who have actually gone out and done the hard miles, done the hard yakka. Actually, drilled some, gone to the fucking Arctic and drilled some ice cores, and let up some weather balloons and done experiments to the temperature of the ocean, and collated that data, spent years and years putting all this information together. And then people go, it's bollocks. Just for someone to go, it's bollocks. After someone's done all that, someone has put all that stuff together, someone's actually done the hard yakka. And there were people out there who've sat in their armchair doing fuck all, getting someone else to do their thinking for them. It's like, no, none of these conspiracy theories are original. They're always someone else's. They've been passed along, haven't they, for like urban myths. And yeah, they're never used for good. Like Donald Trump got on the back of a got into politics on the back of a conspiracy theory that Obama wasn't born in America. The truthers or birthers, they're called the birthers, weren't they? But yeah. If God was going to make a joke, surely it would be the duckbill platypus. I mean, seriously, that animal can't decide what it was supposed to be, but it can make its own custard, which is good. Or even races assume that they are chosen people and can do no wrong against other races. Yeah. Jenny says, I was talking to someone about trans issues, and they said that transgender is in conflict with Catholic dogma. As a Catholicism is in conflict with Catholic dogma, we don't talk anymore. Well, it is. You're absolutely right, Jenny. It genuinely, there's so much contradiction in the Bible and the teachings and all that kind of stuff. Luckily, an MP can't save their seat like Trump is trying to keep his place in president. He'll be out again before next election all over the... look, an MP can't save their seat like Trump. Yeah, there'll be listen, if there is another by-election, which I think there will be before the end of the year, and Farage will still win it. Farage will still win it. Because he'll spin it as a conspiracy against him, which he is already doing. They were saying this is they struck back against the establishment, and it's like, you were up against the bin, you daft twat. The trans agenda is a conspiracy theory, and that nasty one says black dot. Yeah, absolutely. This conspiracy that trans people are there's a thing called the trans agenda. There's a thing called the trans lobby, which doesn't exist. There's things called there's people called activities, whatever you want to call it. There's a group called trans activists who go out and do horrible things to people. Doesn't exist. Never existed. And then what they like to do is take the actions of one bad person and say this represents this entire group. Something that we never do for cisgender, heterosexual, white people. Trump is pure racism in an orange wrapper and a bad hairdo. Yeah. Oh, I said the other day they had the Patriot Games, didn't they, or whatever they call it, the Hunger Games for America. Two athletes from every state or something, and none of them were black. Not a single black athlete. My only agenda is to make garlic bread, salmon, and buttery veg tonight, says Gallifrey, which sounds amazing. That sounds so good. I've spoken to me gods. I've never claimed they answered in turn. Yeah, well, I'm angry pagan. Be careful if they do. If they do, and they start telling you to do fucked up shit with a hammer, just tell them, no, leave the hammering to Thor, okay? Stop, hammer time. Trans activist here. I attend illegal lesbian gathering and go to the toilet. I mean, yeah, they believe there's a trans army out there who are out to do, I don't know what. I'd take photos of people who are going for a piss with their meta glasses on, which didn't even fucking exist when this whole trans panic began. The trans agenda is pretty much the same concept as the protocols of the end of Elders of Zion, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. They all got together in secret and conspire with their secret agenda. Yeah, far sight. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Elders shared the government petition to review anti-discrimination laws to strengthen trans and LGBTQ plus protections. I totally agree with that. And I'm going to pin that message there. So if you want to sign that petition while you're listening to the show, that would be cool. I'm going to wrap up soon because me and Phil, I've got to do a show at 1 o'clock. It's back to normal. And if I can get someone to join me tonight, we'll be doing a Friday night social tonight. So look out for that at 9:30, just after Maximilian finishes his show. So 7:30, Aid, 8:30, Maximilian, 9 me. I don't know if Aid's doing stuff this week this month because he's on his jollies, I think. That was that it? Lost, couldn't remember what he'd actually said, but I remember racist shit. I thought he said Osama bin Laden because his last name being Obama. Probably. Puberty blockers damage bone structure. Also, trans women in sports have an advantage because of superior bone structure. Yeah, Jenny. The anti-trans agenda, which is a genuine thing, paid for by the oil companies. That exists. The conservatives, the gun owners, the gun companies, the gun lobbyists. Yeah, they like making stuff up, don't they? They like making stuff up. Are these people who really care about women's sports all of a sudden? Never given a fuck before. Couldn't tell you their favorite female athlete. Go on, then. Who's your favorite female football player? Anyway, Trump has wasted 220 billion. So much for government waste. The White House alone is 900 million. Yeah. Anyway, what else have we got going on? So emergency Cobra meeting. I mentioned that. Water bills are rising. Ofwat has authorised. Ofwat. Yeah, so the people who run the water companies are all private school mafia, and Ofwat are private school mafia as well. They all went to school together, so they're all conspiring to be gobshites. Ofwat needs to be disbanded and replaced with something that's actually effective. So as Ofcom, get something with some teeth, please, thank you. And we also need Leveson too. Anyway, Ofwat has authorised further bill increases for 5 water companies. Decision comes while large areas of England remain in drought and millions of customers are under water restrictions, so you can't use as much water as you used to, and we're going to charge you more for it. Water companies continue to face criticism over leakage, sewage pollution in all of our water courses, and historic underinvestment in infrastructure. We've had no new reservoirs built since 1992. 1992? What the hell? What the flip? The immediate policy problem is the combination of reduced supply and rising demand during the heat waves and infrastructure that loses significant amounts of treated water before it reaches customers. You know, the people who are saving water. Well, what's the fucking point if we're going to be losing billions of litres of water every day through leakage? But the golf courses get watered, don't they? PBs do reduce bone density. That's true, just like in menopausal women. The solution is not to have trans teens, to take them up to 18 before starting hormones. Is to not have trans teens take them up until 18 before. Yeah, I mean, there needs to be a cap on how long you can take puberty blockers. Fine. You know, if you want to make it 3 years or 2 years or whatever the recommended amount is, fine. Don't ban them outright when they're not banned for cisgender kids. It's monstrous. It's just monstrous. Romanian nuclear power plant has been forced to shut down due to drought. Yeah. So apparently only Milders in the building is having cast two Doctor Who actors to join them. Well, that's cool. Anyway, I dropped into Lurk before I started my shift in public toilets and stealing people's biscuits or whatever I'm meant to be doing there. Won't be staying for the agenda. It'll make me angry. Oh, I'm sorry, Gallifrey man. Sending you hugs. I don't want you angry. But yeah, I'm just sorry that things are shit at the moment. And, you know, I hope that everyone watching this has actually written to their MP and said, can you stop this shit? I wrote to my MP. She got back to me. She said, yeah, I've signed the day motion against this. It's disgusting. I'm going to keep fighting against it, which is wonderful. But I wish we had money. I wish we had J.K. Rowling's amount of money. She's going to make 20 million from this new Harry Potter series a fucking year. 20 million pounds that she's going to spend on transphobic shite. It's fucking disgusting. You know, Americans boycotted Bud Light because a transgender person got a free can of Bud Light with their name on it. Meanwhile, the woman who owns the Harry Potter fucking empire is spending millions and millions of pounds on making trans people's lives a fucking misery. And any person, any woman who doesn't look, you know, that doesn't reach the required level of Western beauty standard. It's arbitrary, fucking in the eye of the beholder bullshit. Making everyone's lives a misery. Making everyone's lives a misery. But yeah, the boycott of Harry Potter should be monumental. It should be absolutely massive. For anyone from the LGBTQ community still watches it. Watches this new series. That's all. I mean, no, just no. Did YouTube just nanny chat to translate old English? Fucking lol. I don't know. It might have been swearing in a language that I didn't understand, so it was like. But yeah, land management needs to be more prominent in any place. In any plans to help with water management, more wetland development would work as natural biodiversity to store water without damming everything. Yeah, definitely. And grouse moors and things like that need to go. I think we could do with it. Let's get rid of half of the bloody golf courses. Just get rid of half of them. I mean, are they all oversubscribed? I don't think they are. I've lost all interest in Harry Potter. Used to love it. Yeah, I think that is quite possibly the most devastating cases of death of the author that we've had ever. I mean, in history, because although Roald Dahl's anti-Semitism was known about for years, it's nothing new. I remember my Jewish friends in the 1990s saying Roald Dahl was anti-Semitic, and he fucking was. And Roald Dahl's estate have said, we apologized on his behalf, I guess, and acknowledged the fact that he was a raging anti-Semite. But at least, he's not making money from the books anymore. His estate might be, but he's not making that money. J.K. Rowling is making the money, and she's actively harming people. She's actively harming children with the money she makes. She's driving young trans children to suicide with the money that she makes from Harry Potter. I mean, just talk about shitting all over your legacy. Story about a kid who thought they were, who discovered they were different from everyone else, who got bullied by the normies in the world, and then found out there was a magical place where there were loads of people just like him. He came out the closet under the stairs, and people read it as a gay allegory. People read it as a trans allegory. And now look at it, it's just a smoking ruin of bitterness and resentment because this woman has turned something that was great and gave a lot of people joy, a lot of people happiness, and she's soured it all. She's poisoned it with her own fucking venom, turned herself into fucking Voldemort. It's a joke going around that she's rewriting the Harry Potter books from the point of view of Voldemort, who was like misunderstood, when he was trying to, kill all the mudbloods for not being real wizards. People hated George Lucas for the prequels. J.K. Rowling makes him look like an absolute saint. George Lucas is a fucking... I mean, as far... I mean, he's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but at least his crimes were creative crimes in terms of creating things like Jar Jar fucking Binks. I'm thinking we cared about trade routes. But as a guy, George Lucas has done some amazing shit. Like, he had this long-running legal dispute up in, I think, Marin County or wherever it is. Someone's going to tell me in the chat where he lives in California. And he wanted to build a studio. He wanted to build a studio up there for years and years and years. He was trying to get permission. But the other rich bastards who lived in the area kept on vetoing it. Like, they would not allow him to build anything in this area because they kept on coming up with excuses. Total NIMBYs, but like NIMBYs with millions in the bank account. So in the end, they said, no, this is zoned for for housing. You can't build a commercial structure here. Blah 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 blah. Even though he had us, how it was all going to be set out, and it was going to be respectful of the land and all that kind of stuff. But Marlin County, I don't know. Someone's going to tell me in the chat. I'm sure who's more of an avid George Lucas watcher than I am. But apparently, he said, all right then. And what he did was he built a load of affordable homes, built a load of social housing in the same bit. Because he said, well, if I can only build houses, then I'm going to build a load of social houses. And that upset the toffs even more. Good on you, George. Good on you, George. But I think it's a bit of a lie to say that the Star Wars prequels collapsed under the weight of their expectations. I genuinely think they could have been great. I genuinely think there was a story there that would have been really engaging and interesting and well acted, well written, well paced. Some things that the prequel trilogy just weren't. They had some great actors, great acting, not so much. But you know, that's a story he wants to tell with no studio interference. By the way, the most expensive indie movies ever made, the Star Wars prequels. They were made by George Lucas's production company, Lucasfilm. He didn't get the money. Usually, the way it works is 20th Century Fox or Paramount or Universal. They give you 20 million and say go make a film, and then your production company uses that 20 million to make the film. Whereas he stumped up the cash for the prequels. He got 20th Century Fox to distribute it, but yeah, they didn't have anything to do with the. There was no script oversight by the execs at Fox who would turn up going, "What? Why have you got a jive talking amphibian who steps in? Shit. Why is that in this movie?" Sadly, I had to endure watching the first Harry Potter film 52 times when it first came out. It was a projectionist for Warner Brothers Cinema at the time, so the first two weren't that great, were they? The films got better as they went on. The third one was pretty good. It was the guy who directed Gravity, wasn't it? But yeah, the first two were directed by Chris Columbus, he's the guy who did like Mrs. Doubtfire, and he wrote the screenplay for Goonies, but he always came across to me as a bit of a hack, Chris Columbus. The prequels may not be great, but the prequel memes are wondrous. Jenny says, I broke my neck 10 years ago and haven't looked back since. Very good. Very good. He had too many yes men around him while making episode 1, and he even acknowledged that afterwards. Yeah. He did. I call it George Lucas syndrome. It's when everyone around you goes, yeah, that's a great idea. It happens to leaders all the time. All the fucking time. You know, everything they say is amazing. Every idea they come up, no matter how wacky, they go, oh yeah, that's good. That's good that you came up with that idea. And you need the pushback. If an idea, a concept, a character, a storyline, a plot, or whatever, you know, an invention can't stand up to scrutiny. And this is why they always had the devil's advocate, you know, when they elect a pope, or not a pope, a saint, sorry, when before a saint what's the process called? Beatification, something like that. They have a debate in the Vatican, and they get someone to be literally the devil's advocate. That's the name. That's their title. And they come along and they explain why this person shouldn't be a saint. And that happened with Mother Teresa. You know, do you remember Christopher Hitchens, who sadly died of cancer 14 years ago? I say unfortunately died of cancer. You know, and because I thought he was a great orator, but I didn't agree with a lot of his views. He thought the Iraq War was fucking great. There's a chance he might be defending Trump at the moment for some bizarre fucking reason. But you know, he was a great orator, and he he was the devil's advocate at Mother Teresa's argument, whatever, debate. They've got a name for it, you know, this conclave. It's not conclave, but whatever it is in the Vatican. And he had to make state the case why she shouldn't have been made a saint. Probably because she fucking wallowed in misery and poverty and pain. She thought that poverty was next to godliness. Joke candidate 1, says Gary. Yeah, indeed. And the serious candidate came second. Mind you, bad science in Avatar made me not watch anymore after the first. Oh, the Unobtainium. I never watched Avatar after the first time I saw it at the cinema, and I liked watching it at the cinema in that I watched it with the 3D glasses on, and it was fun, you know, the 3D stit, and that was cool. But it was a 3D movie with a very 2-dimensional plot, and I hated not just the fact that the lead actor wasn't particularly charismatic or interesting, and it was just, you know, a remake of the Ferngully, The Last Rainforest, but set in space. And all those criticisms that other people have made before me. But what bothered me more than anything else about the Avatar movie, and it was an easy fix. I don't mind them retelling a story that's already been told, but you know, with great special effects. That's as old as the hills. That always happens in Hollywood. But it was the motivation of the bad guy in it. You know, the guy with his fucking mecha machine, like out of Aliens, which also directed by James Cameron. But and he really hated the Navi. He really hated these aliens. It's like, why? Why couldn't they given him a bit of backstory to explain why he fucking hated him? Do you know what I mean? Like, just why'd you hate these people? Oh, because my son went out into the jungle and they could have helped him, but he died, and they said, oh, it's all part of the circle of life, and they didn't save him, and so I hate them because they didn't save him. Or do you know something? Just something. But no, it's just I just want that unobtainium. You can't believe how much I want that unobtainium. Or like his family are being taken hostage back on Earth until he gets this fucking unobtainium. Get the gong, get the MacGuffin, or we kill your kids. Oh fuck! I've really got to get me MacGuffin. Then it would make sense that he really, really, really hates these Navi people, but there's no reason for it. I know it's supposed to be an allegory about racism and stuff, but maybe if you had a flashback to some kind of Starship Troopers like initiation when he's a little kid and they're learning about the Navi people, they're like, oh, these people, they're not people, they're terrible people, So you get this idea that he's been indoctrinated, but then it tees it up for the end, him having some kind of like redemption arc, which he doesn't have. He's just evil for the sake of being evil. And it's just like, you spent so much time and effort making this world look beautiful and making it look like you're really on an alien world, which I really appreciate, because there's so many sci-fi shows and films where they go to a farm, they go to an alien planet and it looks like the Sahara Desert. They go to an alien planet and it looks like Guatemala. They go to an alien planet and it looks like French Polynesia. And you're like, wow. Could you not have made the sky a different colour? Maybe have more than one shot with the two suns. Just maybe have a massive gas giant in the sky, because the moon going around the gas giant. There's a fantastic cartoon, I think it's on Netflix. It's called Scavenger's Reign. And if you like sci-fi, if you like hard sci-fi, it's fucking brilliant. And that feels like, well, not personally on another planet, but the way that they've made the alien world feel like an alien world. But yeah, Avatar spent all this time and energy making it look like an alien fucking world. Didn't bother to work on the script. Apparently, the reason for Jar Jar was because of a dispute from having space adventures, going to space politics, and Jar Jar was created so the space politics wasn't boring. Columbus wrote Gremlins as well. He skewed the first two Harry Potter films a bit too young. Yeah, not entirely his fault. The first two books were pretty much all that was available when he started. Yeah, and you know what? The kids' acting's shite in the first one. I mean, Ron is fucking awful. Hermione is. It's Leviosa. I mean, she's shite. Straight out of stage school. I mean, they got better. They got a lot better. I mean, nowadays, I seek out Daniel Radcliffe movies. He's always in something interesting. He was in that great. Did you ever see the biopic of Weird Al Yankovic that had Daniel Radcliffe in? It's brilliant, and all of them have distanced themselves from J.K. Rowling. I like the unobtainium. If you look at it from the top down, it's basically company wants thing and we'll fuck over everything to get it. Basically what we're seeing with AI now. Yeah, I guess so. I think maybe I feel like there should be a motive more than I'm already rich and I want to be richer. Yeah. Are we really going to ignore the glorious speculative evolution depicted in the Avatar movies? Okay then. No, that's what I mean. For world building, like the world building is top notch for Avatar. It does feel like an immersive experience. My point is that the story is, it's okay, I guess. The second one, I fell asleep in the second one. I've not even watched the third one. I can't be arsed. Better things to do. Film idea, says Mike Dix. Aliens in space. Anything, any story you can come up with, it will be more interesting if it's set in space. I guarantee. I've never seen Avatar because I object to the DEI castings of 8 foot tall blue people in the main roles. Why can't short, fat white people get the parts anymore? Yeah, Danny DeVito's busy. Actually, Danny DeVito's in the new Jumanji movie that's coming out in December. So, that'll be fun. Don't forget Dr. Hughes. Dr. Hughes quarries. Yeah, they go to an alien planet, and it's always a quarry. Yeah, put a bit more effort into making you. Well, that's the thing. Like, there's an episode of the Twilight Zone. And I don't know what was written, what was come up with. I don't know whether I shot an arrow in the air. I think that's what it's called. This episode of the Twilight Zone. They think they've landed on this alien planet, but they haven't. They've landed on Earth. Sorry, spoilers. And if you haven't seen Planet of the Apes, please block your ears. 1968 version of Planet of the Apes. Yeah, they're on Earth. And just the fact that the air is breathable and the sky is blue and the sun looks like our sun should be a bit of a giveaway. It's like, well, we've been walking around all this time and we've been on Earth. It's like, how could you not know that? Oh, it's because every time we've seen a representation of another planet in Hollywood or on TV or whatever, it's always looked a lot like Earth or somewhere on Earth or an entire planet, which is just one type of ecosystem, whereas there's dozens of different types of ecosystems on Earth. They never go to an alien world where there's like a hot bit and a cold bit and a jungle bit and a desert bit and a city. There's a city bit. Trump, not Trumpton. Autocorrect prefers Trumptonshire. Trumptonshire? It's not Trumptonshire, my friend. It's what's it called? Oh God, fuck. What's the name of the county? Camberwick Green is the village. Trumpton's the town, and then I'm thinking Chorley or Chumpty or something. What's it, Mike? What's the name of the last one? The third season of Camberwick Green. What's it called? Michael, no. He knows these things. Mike knows things. Chemistry would determine the sky color and the type of star. Yeah, exactly. At least Stargate attempted to explain why other planets could resemble our own. Says one angry pagan. Well, there's an episode of, I want to say Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation, but I think I might be corrected on that. It might have been Deep Space Nine, where they explain why Romulans, Klingons, Vulcans, and humans look so similar. And it's because we're all seeded on our different planets or something. And that's why, the Klingons look like humans with a Mars bar stuck to the head. The county is Trumptonshire. The city is Chigley. Oh, okay. Chigley, that's what it was. See, I was quite close with Chorley. It's almost Chigley. And I've got to wrap up soon. I keep saying I'm like it's like a up Pompeii, this, isn't it? Funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Anyway, UK universities are warning of a financial crisis because of a severe squeeze as overseas student recruitment falls because the government is trying to get down immigration numbers. So the student visa applications are down 11% in July, and the way that universities have been making their money because tuition fees have stayed at the same level and they don't get any more top up from the government. Stayed at the same level for years and years and years now, and the only way they make their money is by getting lots of overseas students over. But the governments are like, oh, we need fewer overseas students, even though they're literally bringing money into our country. They're literally bringing money from outside our country into our country. Lots of money, thousands and hundreds of thousands of pounds each into our country. Like, no, I don't want that. Don't want that. Let's get rid of them. Bloody foreigners. The government's also introduced a levy on international student fee income, and universities have warned that it could lead to redundancies, course closures, and in extreme cases, institutions becoming financially unsustainable. The universities UK, the Russell Group universities as well, they're asking ministers to reconsider policies that make recruiting overseas students more difficult, because I don't mind if they charge a fuckload to someone who's coming from the other side of the country, the world. I don't mind. That helps subsidise people in the UK going to university. Fucking great. Why not? A-level results came out yesterday. Strong A-level results, another high proportion of A and A-star grades. But London substantially outperformed much of the rest of England. It's at 32.0 7% of London entries received an A or an A star grade, whereas in the northeast, where I am living at the moment, the figure was just over 23%. That's the London dash north east gap reached about 9.6 percentage points, which is the widest since the pandemic. East Midlands was also amongst the lowest performing regions for top grades. Researchers point to difference in teacher recruitment, poverty, public services, educational opportunities outside school. London's performance has also been linked to the long-term legacy of the London Challenge School Improvement Programme and its ability to attract teachers. And the results are another measurable regional inequality that needs to be sorted out. Andy Burnham says he's going to go hell for leather for sorting out these regional inequalities. I commend the fact that he's trying to, but can you sort out that fucking horrible guidance first, please? It'll take you a minute. Meanwhile, the Birmingham Four case could be reopened. The Kalobaib Hussein, Naweed Ali, Mohibur Rahman, and Tahir Aziz were convicted in 2017 of preparing a terrorist attack. The convictions follow an undercover operation centered on this fake courier company called Hero Couriers. Police and MI5 infiltrated the group, and the defense has long maintained that a bag containing weapons and an improvised explosive device discovered in Naweed Ali's vehicle was planted. And there's been new material that's been submitted to the Criminal Cases Review Commission. There's emerging evidence through the public inquiry into undercover policing that includes allegations that officers from a West Midlands specialist unit have fabricated or planted evidence in other operations, which is a bit grim, really. Previous attempts to overturn the convictions have failed. But just because the CCRC is reviewing the case doesn't mean that it's reached a conclusion yet. It most certainly hasn't. Who killed Muffin the Mule? Episode 1. Oh yes, who killed Muffin the Mule and wrote a sinister message with Muffin the Mule's entrails. My money's on Windy Miller. Anyway, Ukraine has proposed a Black Sea truce. Ukraine has offered Russia an agreement to stop attacks on civilian targets in the Black Sea. This proposal was transmitted through a third party. Both countries have increasingly attacked ports, shipping and maritime infrastructure in each other's countries. The Black Sea obviously remains crucial for Ukrainian agricultural exports. It's the only way to get that out at scale. Ukrainian grain exports are reported to be 76% lower year on year because of the disruption caused by the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Russia withdrew from the UN and Turkey brokered Black Sea grain agreement in 2023. And Ukraine subsequently established its own maritime export corridor. But recent attacks have made that passage more difficult. And Ukraine has also struck facilities around Russia's Novorossiysk port. Novorossiysk port. Probably pronounced that wrong. Sorry. Temporarily closing 3 of its terminals. And Moscow has said that it's not received a formal ceasefire proposal directly from Kyiv. Yeah, because it came from a third party. Keep up at the back. Meanwhile, Palestinian families have been forced from their homes in the West Bank. Israeli soldiers forced 2 Palestinian families from their home in Qusra, in the occupied Qusra, I think, in the occupied West Bank. The area has been subject to days of pressure and violence from Israeli settlers. Settlers and soldiers have restricted access to the homes and disrupted utilities and ambulance access. Israeli Regional Commander Major General Avi Bluth has previously said settlers laying siege to properties would be removed, and some settler positions were dismantled, but restrictions continued. The episode forms part of a wider increase in settlers' attacks on the Palestinian displacements in the West Bank. Not great. Meanwhile, internal records have shown that the US Department of Homeland Security has conducted a large surveillance operation against protesters, against anti-ICE activists and left-wing organizations. And the operation was called Operation Puppet Master. centered around protests in Minnesota and New York. Just because you think you're being watched doesn't mean you're not being watched, especially by the fucking tyrants in charge of America right now. Meanwhile, Ebola has spread to another Congolese province, which is not good. We've had record rain and flooding in Japan. We could do some water over here, but it's all in Japan at the moment because of climate change. Exceptional rainfall east of Tokyo. More than 360 millimeters of rain fell in 24 hours in some areas. Reuters reported 8 deaths by Friday morning. That's fucking crazy, isn't it? Around 7,000 travellers were stranded at the the Narita National International Airport. Rail links disrupted. Meanwhile, there was derailment in the UK down south this yesterday, and in East Sussex, and 2 people died. 2 people died near Lewes. Is it pronounced Lewes? I don't know. It's the place where they have the big carnival, for fireworks night when they have the big parades that they burn. Is it pronounced Lewes? I don't know. Someone who lives in Brighton will tell me. But yeah, investigators are looking at the cause of the derailment, but there's a very good chance it was a track buckling because of the heat. We won't know, but this is more casualties of climate change. EVs are very popular in Hong Kong and absolutely perfect for there. Unfortunately, I have to turn down Uber rides in EVs because of car sickness. I don't have this issue so badly in an ICE or hybrid. That's really strange, Mark. You get car sickness in EVs. I would think it would be the opposite of that, because obviously in a car with gears and in a manual, you kind of get thrown around, especially if the traffic goes into the wrong gear going up a hill in Scotland. But yeah, I mean, I think it pronounced Lewis. Thanks. Or Louis. Thanks. Isn't it the speed that people go around corners and stuff? So the reason why you get car sickness, the reason why you get seasickness, is because of a disconnect between your brain and what's happening. So if you're reading something, you'll get car sick because your brain can feel the motion, like the things swishing around in your ears saying, we're moving. You can feel momentum, you can feel pressure, force going back and forth on you as you turn around corners and stuff. But you're looking at static words on a page, so your brain's like, nah, something not quite right here. And the only time that what you're seeing isn't matching what you're experiencing, what your body's experiencing, is if you've been poisoned, and so your body makes you sick, makes you puke up to get rid of whatever it is that you've ingested. And that's why it takes a while to get your sea legs, apparently. Have you seen that photo of the scuba diver swimming with sharks holding up a Palestine flag? No, I haven't. It's quite cool. A friend of mine married a footballer called Deli Abdeola. She used to call him Adebola cornflakes. My favourite place in my new area is a village called Brosum. It's pronounced Bosom by the locals. Bosom by the locals. Anyway, so the parliamentary investigation is back on. Retiree Rick Tracy says the by-election in Clacton is a complete and utter farce of our democracy. I'm hoping that Farage is held to account for the allegations against him. I hope that the democratic process is followed through. Not great. Jamie Stanley was one of the 9,455 people who voted for Count Binface. It wasn't really about beating Farage. It was to show he can be upset by a man with a bin on his head. The fact that he wasn't there. Yeah. Oh, they changed the tune. They said that Farage didn't attend the count because of security concerns from Essex Police. Well, it turns out no, actually. Now they're saying that it was because of Nigel's security team. My God. Bosom is spelt boatswain. Sea legs took me less than a day on that cruise. Turns out the walking while drunk is training. Yes, it is actually. It is. It genuinely is. Because when you've drunk too much, your eyes aren't necessarily seeing what your body is experiencing, and that makes you sick. Okay. Where are we? A lot of Zio saying bad shit about it, mainly saying the Sharks should eat them. You can tell they finished school with that logic. Not very pleasant. Why can't people just be nice? Do you remember when Britain was fun? It was just fun. Do you remember the London Olympics? Remember that? Felt really fun, didn't it? Meanwhile, the US and Iran are still having confrontations over the Strait of Hormuz. The shipping remains through the Strait of Hormuz remains well below normal levels, and only 9 commodity vehicles were recorded transitioning on Thursday. But obviously transiting. Sorry, not transitioning. Transiting on Thursday, compared with the an August average around 12 a day. So yeah, not too bad. I mean, what's that? 75%. The US says it can maintain its naval blockade of Iran indefinitely by rotating naval forces through the region. Yeah, but leaving that the USS Abraham Lincoln out on the water for 250 days. Being on a floating prison. You have to add the Lewis bonfire to your bucket list. The whole day is amazing with tar, barrel rolling, and massive bonfires of effigies of Pope, Maggie, and Farage being burnt. Yeah, I've always wanted to go there. After I finished making the Odyssey TV show with Lonely Planet, the Odyssey, the Lonely Planet to the Odyssey, I was intending to do a show based on their book A Year of Festivals, and the Lewis Bonfire Festival was definitely one of the festivals that I was hoping to attend around the world. Some mad festivals around the world, some proper bonkers festivals. They're all quite fun. The Seppos are having trouble with logistics on that carrier task group. That's not good. Okay, so we're going to quickly go over to the papers, I hope. Okay, thank you. We've got China funding Palestine marches. Oh, no, hang on a sec. That's the Times. That's the wrong one. The Tory graph here. China is funding Palestine marches. Well, do you know what? Russia is funding Nigel Farage. Russia is funding the tabloids. Russia is funding the Tory party. It has been for years. The Conservative Friends of Russia. Free Vodafone SIM cards handed out to small boat migrants. Yep, good. So they can communicate. Fucking SIM cards aren't very expensive. It's okay. Met clashes with CPS over levy failings. Lammy's eco project ordered to pay £400,000. Nice. And then workers prefer 0 hours contracts. What a fucking load of bollocks. What a load of workers prefer. Price. Oh, sorry about that. Hey, listen, if you get 4 more super chats in the next 7 minutes, we'll have one more Binface before we go. That'd be nice, won't it? To see out. Yeah. What the fuck are they talking? Workers prefer 0 hours contract. Do you want me to read out what it says on this bullshit, right? It says, workers prefer 0 hour contract to fixed hours for the same role, according to analysis for Labour ministers. A study commissioned by the government as part of its workers' rights overhaul found that job adverts were significantly more likely to attract applicants when they offered flexible hours. Flexible hours. Flexible hours. Did you see that? Did you see flexible? Flexible, the word's there, flexible. Not zero, it's not zero, flex. They just print bullshit. They just lie in the title all the time, don't they? I'm amazed at how many got my own time wrong. Paynton. Well, people got my name wrong. These people just call me fucking ginger twat. How Nicole Kidman reinvented herself at 59. I don't think she reinvented herself. She's the same Nicole Kidman she's been for years. She's a great actress. What's your problem? Burnham bypassing villagers opposed to new asylum sites. Houses burn and train derails on hottest day. Met chief and prosecutor clash over levy failings. This is about a row has broken out between the country's lead prosecutor and the most senior police officer after failings of the criminal justice system that left the rapist Simon Levy free to kill, which he did. Hidden Light, come on, confetti. Thanks, Hidden Light. We just need 3 more confettis in the next 5.5 minutes, and we will have our confetti. We will have our confetti in this life or the next. Hopefully this life. Okay, so moving on from the times. Horror on the 2:24 p.m. Major emergency was declared at a horror train derailment. Its temperatures hit 38.1 degrees C. 2 people were seriously injured. So the train's going to have to go on a go slow, I guess. There's no way around this, really. The trains are buckling because of the heat, and the gams are saying, "Oh, but no, it's just the weather, innit? It's just the weather. It's just the weather. It's just the weather. It's just the weather." Meanwhile, Inferno on hottest day of the year, rampant wildfires engulf streets of family homes. Wildfires caught, supported by the Daily Mail here. Sponsored wildfires brought to you by the Daily Mail and 40 years of denying climate change. The nightmare of living with a sexsomniac. Fucking nightmare, fear stuff. Yeah. Heatwave devastation. This front cover of the Mirror. Britain on fire. Homes destroyed as blazes rage in bone-dry conditions across country. Meanwhile, train crash terror and rail chaos on hottest day of the year. Tinderbox Britain burst into flames yesterday as temperatures hit 38.1 degrees C, sparking chaos. It's really grim. And this is climate change. This is the fucking climate change that scientists have warned me about all my life. Can we just trust the scientists for a change? Just for once? Can we just, they told me all my life that this is going to happen and it's happening. Just like they told me all my life that there was going to be an eclipse on Wednesday. They knew that decades in advance. They knew that centuries in advance that there'll be an eclipse at exactly that time, exactly in that day, and exactly that place. When scientists make predictions based on evidence, I think it's time that we started believing them until they go, "No, but I'm an idiot, so, I know better." I don't know better. I genuinely don't. When it comes to matters of science or flying a plane or brain surgery, I leave it to the experts, mate. I leave it to the fucking people who studied it. Homes blaze in the West Midlands on hottest day of the year. 24 million people face paying higher water bills to firms losing 1.2 billion litres a day from leaks, as I've already explained. Also, university fees to hit £11,000 a year by 2030. That's not good news, is it? Simon Smith on his new album, Angel Eyes there. Imelda Sultan, I'm still trying to cope with being made a dame. Universities fear financial turmoil amid slumping overseas students, which we covered this morning. Temperatures hit 38.1 degrees C as fifth heat wave peaks. Someone there at the side of a running track. PM angry as water firms add 3.4 billion to bills. Fucking assholes. And then we've got the Metro here. Record 2.5 million trips to A&E as temperatures soar past 38 degrees. 3,000 patients a day cared for in corridors. Nurses collapsing as stifling heat takes its toll. Scientists told us this would happen. Scientists told us this would happen, and we ignored the scientists. Please don't ignore the scientists. Please don't allow people to tell you that scientists should be ignored for some stupid fucking reason. But yeah. I've made an album, says Simon Smith. What the hell? Well, mate, sometimes you must be an album somniac or something. You make albums in your sleep. When I was at Game, we could only employ part-time staff if they would keep the rest of the week free just in case we needed them urgently. How the fuck are people supposed to plan their week? Exactly. Some areas are 6 standard deviations above average at the moment. To anyone who understands statistics, that is wild. Yeah, it is. Hey, listen, we need 3 more super chats in the next minute and a half. I don't think we're going to make it. Oh, poor Bin. Poor Binface. I'm sorry, Diz. I tried my best, but I don't think we're going to make it. Exactly. Sorry. But yeah, we're going into the Financial Times now. Final paper of the day. Anthropic investors bet on record $2 trillion IPO valuation. The fuck? No, it's not worth that much. Next step, Fraser snaps up Harvey Nichols for $40 million as Ashley pushes up retail group up market. We've got Savovsky's boss says Women buying own lab-grown diamond is very endearing. I'm all for lab-grown diamonds. Fucking grow. Why are we digging them out the ground? Leave them in the fucking ground. They're beautiful. Leave them in the fucking ground. Leave them in the ground. Maybe we can make them. We can make them, and they look better. And they don't. The cost to human life isn't as extreme. As anyone who's watched the movie Blood Diamond will attest. University inclusivity under spotlight after all day row. This is about the lecturer at Cambridge University who turned out to have just been making a lot of shit up. But that happens a lot actually. But if the person who makes shit up is white, we tend to ignore it. The briefing on the right hand side is too small to read. But I'll read it for you anyway. But Burnham's boost as GDP expands in second quarter. Crypto wallet breach. Rare US rebuke for Israel. Seoul overtakes Dubai. US in tariff dodging claim. Rome's airport mission. Shein loses Temu lawsuits. I thought they were the same thing. And Canary Wharf sells office. Right. I'm going to be back in an hour with our dear friend Phil Morehouse to pick over the politics of the week, but particularly over the result in Clacton last night and what it means for Count Binface and Nigel Farage and the Refuck Party going forward. So meet us in 1 hour for that. If you're a fan of Phil Morehouse, if not, come anyway. It might be a laugh. I don't know. It might be cool. I'll be there. So, one reason to possibly come along. If you want to give us a like, we always like a like on this channel, so please feel free to give us a like. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit the bell notification icon if you're not already done so. Because although, hopefully, for the next week, it'll be business as usual, we will be doing a special Friday night social tonight at 9:30. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. And I'll be half dead because I've been up since 3 in the morning because I had to get to the airport and fly back from Spain this morning. But I'm here now, and that's the main thing. So thanks very much for watching. You're all amazing and beautiful and cool. Like, that's the thing about all the people who watch this. You're all cool. How cool are you? Like, this is how cool you are. You're this cool. You're Brock the Badger cool. Yeah? Yeah? You're Brock the Badger wearing sunglasses cool. That's how cool you are. So thanks very much for joining us this morning. This morning is over. It's now this afternoon. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for the super chats. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the bants. And until I see you again, hopefully in just under an hour, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.